Cryptozoology, between myth and reality. There are creatures you will never find in any biology textbook. They don't appear in scientific conferences or official species classifications. And yet, for centuries, people all over the world insist they have seen them. They describe them in detail, fear them, search for them, and in some cases dedicate their entire lives to proving they exist. Welcome to the world of cryptozoology. What is cryptozoology? The word cryptozoology comes from the Greek words kryptos, hidden, and zoon, animal, and it refers to the study of animals whose existence has not been scientifically confirmed. We are not necessarily talking about purely mythical creatures like dragons or unicorns, but about beings that could exist, yet remain unseen or unverified. Cryptozoology is not recognised as an official scientific discipline. It exists in a grey area between folklore, exploration, zoology and, for many, pseudoscience. Nevertheless, it has fascinated millions of people and has created an entire culture around it. Historical roots and folk traditions. Long before the term cryptozoology was coined in the 20th century, humans were already speaking of unknown creatures. In ancient manuscripts, sailors' logs and myths, we find descriptions of sea monsters, giant serpents, humanoid beings, and mysterious beasts living in forests and mountains. For example, the Vikings spoke of massive sea serpents, the ancient Greeks of Scylla and Charybdis, while in Africa and Asia, legends of unknown animals were passed down from generation to generation as warnings or explanations for the unexplainable. Many cryptozoologists believe these myths may be based on real encounters with unknown or misunderstood animals. Famous cryptids of the world. Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Perhaps the most famous cryptid in the world. Bigfoot is described as a large, hairy, humanoid creature living in the forests of North America. There are thousands of eyewitness accounts, photographs, videos, and footprint casts. Supporters of Bigfoot's existence believe it could be an unknown species of primate. Skeptics argue that the evidence consists of hoaxes, misidentifications, or psychological phenomena. And yet, the fact that sightings continue to this day keeps the mystery alive. The Loch Ness Monster. In the cold waters of Scotland's Loch Ness, legend says a massive aquatic creature resides, known as Nessie. Descriptions often include a long neck and a body resembling a prehistoric reptile. Despite numerous scientific investigations, sonar scans, and underwater expeditions, no conclusive evidence has ever been found. Still, Nessie remains a vital part of local culture and tourism. The Chupacabra. In Latin America, stories of the Chupacabra have inspired fear for decades. This creature is said to attack livestock and drain their blood. Scientists have attributed many such attacks to sick wild animals, such as coyotes suffering from mange. However, the wide variation in eyewitness descriptions keeps the mystery unresolved. The Mothman. One of the most unsettling cryptids ever reported, the Mothman first appeared in Point Pleasant, West Virginia during the 1960s. Witnesses described a tall, winged humanoid creature with glowing red eyes. What makes the Mothman especially eerie is its alleged connection to disaster. Several sightings occurred shortly before the collapse of the Silver Bridge in 1967, leading some to believe the creature was either a harbinger of doom or something far more complex. To this day, the Mothman exists somewhere between urban legend, paranormal entity, and cryptozoological mystery. The Jersey Devil. Deep in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey, legends speak of the Jersey Devil, a creature described as having the body of a kangaroo, the wings of a bat, hooves, and a terrifying scream. Stories of the Jersey Devil date back to the 18th century, with reports from farmers, soldiers, and even prominent historical figures. Despite countless investigations, no definitive explanation has ever been found. The Pine Barrens remain one of the most mysterious forests in the United States. The Yeti, abominable snowman. High in the Himalayan mountains, where survival itself is a challenge, locals have long spoken of the Yeti. Often described as a large, ape-like creature adapted to extreme cold, the Yeti has been part of Sherpa folklore for generations. Footprints in the snow, strange vocalizations, and hair samples have fueled debate for decades. Some scientists suggest the Yeti may be a misidentified bear species, while others believe it represents an undiscovered primate. The harsh environment of the Himalayas makes certainty nearly impossible. The Wendigo. Originating from Native American folklore, particularly among Algonquian-speaking tribes, the Wendigo is often described as a tall, emaciated humanoid with an insatiable hunger. While sometimes viewed as a spiritual or supernatural entity rather than a biological creature, some cryptozoologists include the Wendigo due to persistent sightings and physical descriptions. The Wendigo represents not only a monster, but a warning about greed, isolation, and the loss of humanity. The Thunderbirds. Across Native American traditions, especially in the Great Plains and Pacific Northwest, stories describe thunderbirds, massive birds capable of carrying off large animals. Modern sightings describe creatures with wingspans far larger than any known bird of prey. Some believe these stories could stem from surviving prehistoric birds or exaggerated encounters with condors or eagles. Still, the consistency of descriptions across cultures raises questions. The Mongolian death worm. In the vast Gobi Desert, nomadic tribes speak of the Mongolian death worm, a bright red worm-like creature said to kill from a distance using venom or electric shocks. Even modern explorers and researchers have claimed local guides refuse to travel in certain regions due to fear of the creature. Despite multiple expeditions, no physical evidence has been recovered. Its legend remains one of the strangest in cryptozoology. The Beast of Gévaudan. In 18th century France, a series of brutal attacks left over 100 people dead. Witnesses described the attacker as a massive, unnatural, wolf-like creature, later known as the Beast of Gévaudan. While some historians argue it was an unusually aggressive wolf or group of wolves, others believe something far more unusual was responsible. The sheer number of victims makes this case one of the most chilling cryptid stories in European history. The Loveland Frogman. In Ohio, reports surfaced in the 1950s of the Loveland Frogman, a humanoid creature with amphibian features walking upright near rivers and bridges. Though often dismissed as a hoax or misidentified animal, the frogman has remained a staple of American cryptid lore, particularly due to reports from law enforcement officers. The Kraken. Once thought to be purely mythical, the Kraken was described in Scandinavian folklore as a colossal sea monster capable of dragging ships beneath the waves. While modern science attributes these legends to giant squids or colossal squids, The sheer scale described in early accounts suggests encounters that deeply traumatized sailors. The ocean, after all, remains Earth's least explored frontier. The Flatwoods Monster. In 1952, witnesses in Flatwoods, West Virginia, reported encountering a tall, armored creature with glowing eyes and a mechanical appearance. The Flatwoods Monster is sometimes classified as a cryptid, other times as a UFO-related entity. Its ambiguous nature makes it one of the most debated cases in cryptozoological history. When cryptozoology was proven right. One of the strongest arguments in favour of cryptozoology is that, in the past, animals once believed to be myths were eventually proven to be real. The giant squid, for instance, was considered a sailor's legend for centuries. Today, it has been photographed and scientifically studied. The same is true for the Komodo dragon, a massive reptile once thought to be fictional. These discoveries raise an important question. How many more creatures might still exist out there, hidden in remote and unexplored parts of the planet? Science versus belief. The main criticism of cryptozoology is the lack of tangible evidence. Science requires repeatable data, DNA samples, and verifiable proof. Most cryptid evidence relies on personal testimonies, blurry photographs, or oral traditions. On the other hand, cryptozoologists argue that humanity has not fully explored Earth. Vast forests, deep oceans, and remote mountain regions remain largely unknown. Why does cryptozoology fascinate us? Perhaps because it reminds us that the world has not revealed all its secrets. In an era where technology seems to explain everything, the idea that something unknown may still lurk in the darkness is deeply compelling. Cryptozoology touches our fear of the unknown, but also our childlike need for wonder. It allows us to imagine a world that is more mysterious and less predictable. Conclusion. Whether we believe in cryptids or not, cryptozoology holds a unique place in human culture. It reflects our imagination, our curiosity, and our desire to explore. Perhaps, in the end, the greatest mystery is not whether these creatures exist, but why we want them to exist so badly.